Hello. It's Jerlene, and I'm live. All right, I am not by myself today, y'all. So again, it's Jerlene. I'm live here to inform, engage, inspire. Maybe I'll make you laugh. Um, forgot about the little intro music. Let me say that all again. It's Jerlene. I'm here. I'm live. I'm not by myself today. Here I've got some amazing community members and parents are joining me. So again, it's Jerlene. I'm here live from Long Beach, here to inform, engage, inspire. Maybe I'll make you laugh. This is an online, this is a real time conversation with some community members. I see someone just popped in. I have to pull them in just a moment. If you are watching right now, can someone give me a thumbs up to make sure that you can hear me? Okay, I can hear myself. I did my own sound check. All right. Tonight's conversation is about, have you been paying attention? If you've been paying attention to my feed, I've been talking about what's been going over here on the West Side with Stevens Middle School and how Long Beach Unified made a decision to eliminate a key program from a school, and a group of parents activated, and they have completely um they're shaking up things. They're changing things. So I'm gonna bring them all in. And I'm not sure if everyone's going to be joining this conversation, but they will be backstage just in case they're needed, in case they need to share their part of their story. But welcome. So if you're watching me right now, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're here. If you're watching now, you're watching later, this evening, tomorrow, let me know that you've been here. Please respond, share, like. All right, I'm starting to pull everybody in. Hello, Miss Mabel. How you doing?
Hi.
Hey. Hello, Dr. Bailey, aka Thanera.
Hello, good
Now,
evening.
so now Alex joined us. Alex is live from the beach right now, y'all. So she may not be able to be all up in the conversation, but she out there making sure the rest of us stay balanced. We got Miss Inez. How you doing?
Hey,
All
happy
right.
Sunday.
So we got Tia in the background right now. She watching us. She not gonna be joining us on stage, but she gonna be providing us, some input and support. Um, what I'm gonna do, first of all, thank you all for joining. First of all, is everyone able to hear me okay? Can you just give me a visual thumbs up that you're able to hear me? Okay. Um, thank you for joining. The purpose of today's conversation is so that we can make sure that the public knows, here's your story. I know that there's been some media that has come out sharing your campaign, but this is an opportunity for you to tell people yourself. So I'm just going to jump right in, and you all answer how you choose to answer. First of all, tell me who you are. So we'll start with we'll go Mabel, Danera, Inez, Alex. Just tell me a few words about who you are and tell me something about your little person that you're representing.
So my name is Mabel. I am a parent. I'm also a Westside Long Beach advocate, and my daughter is Ruby Martinez, going into seventh grade at Stevens Middle School.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thanera Bailey, she, her pronouns. I am a mom of also a seventh grader, Cameron. He is also a student who has an IEP. So besides the DAI program, I'm also someone who is interested in how the school looks at their students who are in special ed. I think we lost Jerlene, but maybe Inez, if you want to
I'm not
go.
sure if it's my turn, but the sound went out for me. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Like thumbs up, you can hear me. I'll introduce myself, but I can't hear. My name is Inez.
We can hear
I
you.
am a parent. I have two, thanks to the advocacy of this amazing group. Now I have two kids that will be going to Stevens. Previously, it was one. Anyway, one going to seventh grade, one going to sixth grade. And I'm so happy to be here and happy that our children have connected and to have connected with this group.
You're up, Alex.
So my name is Alex Martinez. I am a mom to a seventh grader, Valentin Romero. And same, I'm happy that we connected with these moms and we have the same vision.
First of all, Alex, I'm jealous. I wish I was at the beach right now. I can hear those waves in the background. In 2024, I believe you all were offered an opportunity to enroll your child into a dual immersion program for the 25-26 school year. First of all, what is dual immersion? Like, what is it? Can one of y'all just tell everybody else what is dual immersion?
I can start. Um, so, dual immersion is a program that's offered here in the district. For example, our children that were in elementary school, they go to a school where they are learning simultaneously in English and Spanish. And so by the time that they get to fifth grade, the idea is that they're fluent in reading, writing, and speaking in Spanish and English. And that kind of leads to what happened at the middle school, where they offered us the opportunity to have that at the middle school that is here in our community.
So you all were offered this opportunity. Your children started in the 25-26 school year, which what school starts in August. And by December of 2025, you were informed that the program would not continue beyond the 26-27 school year. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. So
What
our,
tell me
oh,
what happened. Oh yeah, go ahead.
so
Tell me about what happened.
our kids had only been in the program for 4 months at Stevens Middle School before we got a notice that the program would be taken away. Correct.
How did this notice come? What did this notice say?
And I think it's important to just build on what
Um,
Mabel
the
and
letter is
Inez
dated
have.
December 4th. We got a letter, like an email. Was somebody else going to pop in?
No, let's go ahead,
Okay.
Inez. You're sharing.
Yeah, we got a letter. I think we actually received it December 5th. And then from there, I think there was supposed to be like a board meeting where it was going to be voted on. We can get into that later. And then as far as like getting notification in the community, in the month of January, we were supposed to have a meeting scheduled for the parents and families to meet. That was canceled. And it did not get rescheduled until June 8th, the very last Monday of school, of this school season. And that's because somebody in this group, if you don't want to be called out or called in, advocated for it to happen. Thanks to her, we were able to have that meeting. But that's
And
kind of
just
how the communication went. It was like us moving it forward.
and
Go
to
ahead.
just add on to what she's saying, before like even the notice of it ending, like in the 23-24, I think, school year, the whole initiation of having a program at Stevens comes from asking parents if we wanted additional programming for dual immersion. There had only been one program for a really long time for middle school in the district. And so there's a high growing need. The district will share with you that dual immersion is something that is growing. Parents are looking for opportunities. As we know, biliteracy and bilingualism is something that is necessary, especially in a state like California. And so the need is growing. There are several elementary schools, and so there has always been only one middle school option. And so there was a desire to have more places where students could learn and receive feedback for middle school. And so a survey did go out to us when our children were in fourth grade to find out where they wanted and did we want more options for middle school, because there was only Keller Miller School. And that's where Stevens comes from. The middle school is on the west side of Long Beach. The existing middle school is only on that, before Stevens was on the east side of Long Beach. And this allowed more students to be able to have access to middle school with the growing need. And so to give that option only 4 months, and then the program they'll say is small, but if you think that it's the first time that this was even given an option in the district for a middle school option to exist, and that it was given 4 months in a what I would say was under resourced. Many of our students didn't receive books. We had a limited teacher. We had a long term sub. We had several things that made this year a unique experience. And so it you start a program because you asked parents, and then you gave it a little test drop moment, and then you end it. But that doesn't seem like a right opportunity to really test it. So there's a much bigger story. And I think Mabel, if you've had kids at both schools, you have more of the history. I think we've also talked a little bit about like how long the programs have been around. We were talking about like when the program started. I don't know if you want to share about how long the program has existed with dual immersion on the West Side compared to Keller. And I don't know if I'm taking too much of your time, but
Before we do that, so you had shared, you stated that they informed you in December, but they did not meet with you into the beginning of June. And so what did the announcement say in December? Like what was their did they provide you a reason and why they were not going to continue the program? Did
a consolidation of the school because due to under enrollment and the growing
so
need to have it centralized.
okay, so because it was
I also,
growing.
sorry, can I jump in here?
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
also think it's very important to add that although Stevens was under enrolled, Keller was over enrolled.
Yes.
And so there were many students that went to Keller that could have came to Stevens, and the number would have balanced out. I know Ines herself has a daughter that was also going to Keller that she was just able to pull over to Stevens. I also do know that a lot of parents that did go to Keller, the reason they did was because they were concerned about the resources that they would get at Stevens. Um, I
Was
mean,
this
because
was this
go ahead.
before or after when you said parents who went to Keller? Was this decision? Is this the recent decision to put their kids at Keller, or is this
Before,
instead of okay? So instead of even trying out Stevens,
correct.
people were like, "I'm gonna go put my kids over at Keller." Okay.
I
Hmm.
know that a lot of parents were discouraged, or a lot of parents were told not to send them to Stevens, to instead send them to Keller. We actually are. I have a lot of friends who have children at Keller, and they were discouraged to send them to Stevens,
Why?
um, because of the resources.
Okay, because of resources. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, Now going back to your June meeting, no meeting happened. You weren't informed prior to December. You spoke of a board vote. So there were two items. There were two meetings in December, one on the 17th and one on the 10th of December of 2025. One of them, and one of them was specifically the closure of Hoover Middle School. And so for folks, her this consolidation that the district talked about. So they were talking about uh, expanding Keller to the Hoover site, eliminating Stevens, expanding Keller, and moving it to another school, which is Hoover. What was very interesting, what I discovered in the documentation from the district, Stevens is not mentioned at all. Like it's not mentioned at all. So until you all showed up at that school board meeting, now I remember the vote for the Hoover closure, and it very minimum conversation of it's going to reopen as this consolidated site for DLI. I was unaware that DLI was at Stevens until you all showed up at the school board meeting in June. Was that beginning of July? Be June. So
I believe it
what
was
happened?
June 15th.
So what happened at your June 8th meeting, and why did you go to the school board?
I
Tanera,
think so several things happened at the June 8th meeting. I think the biggest was that we felt that this was the first time that the district was acting like they had parents that might be upset, even though we had expressed that multiple times. And we really wanted to emphasize that the narrative of parents don't care and only want to go to Stevens. I think that has been said multiple times. I mean, only go to Keller, that like parents want to go to Keller. We wanted to change that narrative that they don't want the program at Stevens. That has kind of been the message that has been shared over and over again. They don't want the program at Stevens. They don't want the program at Stevens. We wanted that part to be significantly changed and amplified, that not only do we want the program at Stevens, we are thriving, our kids are thriving at Stevens, and we want investment on the West Side, that we are tired of the ignoring of the program. I think your point that like people constantly saying, I didn't know there was a program at Stevens is frustrating, given that people talk as though there is only one dual immersion school in the middle school level. And not that you're saying that, but I'm saying that's the common narrative, is that there is one dual immersion middle school. Even from the district, when they came to us on the June 8th meeting, it's like, oh, and when we do this with Keller, and it's like, you literally have another school that you're at right now talking to. And so part of the June 15th meeting was reminding the board that, like, regardless of the decision that you make moving forward, there are kids, parents, families, and an entire community that is impacted by this. And we need you to recognize this. I don't personally live on the West Side. Stevens was an intentional choice for my child because it's the best choice for him. But I've learned so much about the West Side, and the two ladies that are on the screen with me right now as residents have taught me so much about the value of the community voice. And so I really want to like push back to them to speak about why, from a community perspective, it was so important to be at the board meetings and speak from the value to the community.
Okay, so I met you all at the board meeting. And right away, I was like, I need to talk to them. First of all, I am just so amazed and proud of you all and the advocacy that you have taken. And when you delivered your message to the board in June, I heard you. I heard you. Following giving public comment that day, you were approached by a board member, which the board rep for the area. So for people who don't know, Long Beach Unified is divided into 5 areas. We have 5 areas, 5 school board members. Stevens is located in area 1, 2, 1, 2. I should know that. Area 2, the west side of Long Beach. Area 2 encompasses Cabrillo and Poly and the feeder schools in between. Yet the dual immersion program that's across whatever area of school due to school of choice, parents get an opportunity to place their children where they see fit. So you came to the board meeting, you shared public comment, a school board meeting member checked in with you for the district 2 or area 2 rep, and you had a meeting. How did that go? Like, so you went from this June 8th meeting, obviously you didn't feel like your needs were being, your voices were being heard. You showed up at the school board meeting, you shared your stories, you met with the school board member, both area 1 and area 2, Miller and Lopez. Share with people how that happened or how that worked for you all. And the reason I'm asking that is because the one thing that I hear often in community and advocating for education, and I've even heard it directly in relationship to this, and if you even look at the social media comments, people are like, well, did you talk to your school board member? So did you talk to your school board member?
So I'll jump in here. We we did meet with Maria, and she gave us her support. She is not our representative for the West Side, but it was nice to know that we did have somebody's support. We also did meet with Eric Miller, and we met through Zoom. And we all had questions for him. And I'll be the first one to say that when it came to my question, I let him know that I didn't have any questions except for how was he going to represent us? How was he going to advocate for us? And what was he going to do for our community? And he muted me and he went on to the next person. So he didn't answer my question. At the end of the Zoom, I asked again. I asked the question again and I asked if he would help us put it on the agenda. And his answer was there was no need to put it on the agenda, which I think we've all discovered is absolutely a need. And so he kind of just brushed it off, and then that was that. And to say I didn't know I was muted until my fellow parents let me know that I had been muted. Yeah.
Um, so you met with those two school board members. I know throughout this process you've been sending communications, email, and then y'all just like went beast mode. And I'm gonna share this real quick before I go on. And I see Alex, if you're still there. Oh, I think Alex dropped off. Um, Here, hold on. I'm gonna share this. So y'all went beast mode, and the next thing you know, uh-oh, wrong one. Hold on. Can you all see me? There we go. You created a website. Tell me, just okay. So for again, for people who are watching or listening, um, what they're doing, they're sharing the steps that they took to advocate. Why did you create a website? Like, I honestly, I've not seen parents like do what y'all did. So I just want to know, like, tell me more, like in the steps of advocacy that you went. You created a website and then you went back to another school board meeting.
So it's 2026 and we're busy parents, and also information travels fast. So this, even today, the information is outdated because now we've had some changes, and so we now need to update this which hopefully we'll be able to update this week, and you'll see a new information to state this. But we know that this is a big issue, and we wanted to make a place where we were sharing a lot through social media, we're sharing a lot through word of mouth, and we wanted to make sure that people understood the full scope of the issue. And I think when it comes to school and education advocacy, one of the ways that learning education agencies, LEAs, and other districts sometimes get parents to not know their full capacity to make a difference is by not giving them all the information. And so a lot of what we wanted to make the parents aware of is that Keller is not the only way that this could be done. And I think and the strategy of closing Stevens and implementing the way that they're planning was not the only way that this could be done. We wanted to make sure that we weren't just saying to parents, hey, this feels wrong. We wanted to say, this is backed by research. This is backed by data. This is backed, because that's what the district is going to say to you. That is what and that's how the system moves, right? Often what we see with parents is they come out, and we felt this in our first, at least I felt this in our first meeting. It was, I'm going to show you a bunch of slides with data to show you why we've made this choice. And we wanted the website to be like, that's great. Here's a whole bunch of data to show you why your choice is wrong. And so that when we then went into the board and our parents wanted to make their comment, they had things that they could pull from, and we could make a counter argument. And so what the website is also a place that when someone signs up, when someone is looking for a home, once we get information from the district on what we're moving next. So like now we know that parents can re-enroll, and there's this narrative that like Stevens is allowing us to enroll this year. We can put that information and everybody gets the same message, because we're trying to save the school. And so it's when you're working against a big institution like a school district, you can organize, and we can do some things with word of mouth, but we're also fighting against something that had been closed and against a bigger system. And so we also need to use whatever 21st century resources were at our disposal. So I'm glad that this was there.
If you're for
But
folks
can
that
I jump
are
in here? Sorry, I think I lost communication. But I think another reason for the website is we wanted to communicate the way they had not communicated with us. So we wanted to be open. We wanted everybody to know all the facts, because it took a lot of research. I mean, it took a lot of work for us to actually get all the information. So we wanted to make sure that other parents didn't have it as hard as us, and
Mhm.
that that we had an open line of communication.
on, you said talking about research. I know. Oh, where'd you go, Mabel? Did we lose you again? Oh, did we lose Mabel again? Okay. Well, I know that Mabel had shared at a school board meeting. Oh, there you are, Mabel. On the conversation of research. Tell the folks that some data as far as like the dual emergent schools. I know the one of the schools on the west side is one of the oldest schools, right? Of
Yeah,
DLI.
so a little bit about that. So we have Webster Elementary, which is on the west side. That now has 30 years of dual immersion. It originally opened in 1995. Um, but when Keller opened on the east side, it had 20 years of dual immersion history. At the same time, we had Lafayette, that is also in our Wrigley area. At that time, it had 17 years of dual immersion background. And then we also had Willard, which is not on the east side. It is kind of, in a sense, downtown, still closer to Stevens, that had 14 years. So that was very concerning, considering that when Patrick Henry, that is on the east side, opened their dual immersion program, uh, I believe they opened in 2007, the program there. So when those kindergartners that started the program, when they got to fifth grade, they had a smooth transition. They went straight to Keller. There was no like, I mean, never missed a beat. And so that was a bit concerning, considering we had so much history on this side, but we're never given the middle school on this side.
So basically, having the middle school option made sense, right? 20 years, 17 years, 30
Uh,
years.
well,
It made
now it's
sense.
been 30 years. Yes,
Now it's been
absolutely.
30. Yeah, it made sense. Okay, so you went to a second board meeting, showed up in force, families, community members, stakeholders, young folk, your children. Your children are absolutely amazing. And the level of confidence that they all have in speaking is just beautiful. What after you how did you feel after that next series of going to a school board meeting? Doing it a second time?
For me, I mean, we showed up with a lot of people. We had a lot of support. We had community members, we had parents, we had friends, we had, I mean, we showed up with a big number of people. And I personally still felt unheard.
Now, all of your advocacy led you to a meeting that took place last Tuesday. Tell folks about that. I know. Do I need to pull Tia in here? Tell folks about Tell us.
My tech
Because
is
the media,
bugging.
I was there. I just want you to know I was there, folks. I was there. And although they've had media coverage of this, the media has not shared the full story or the breadth of the advocacy that
I
has
think we
gone
need to
in.
tag Tia in at this time.
Yeah. So I'm Tia. I'm bringing you in. You can stay off camera if you like. Are you there? Let me.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Tell us about what happened last week.
What happened last week? We had a meeting. They wanted to talk to us about the dual immersion program, but when the superintendent and staff showed up, I would say they were giving the same presentation that we saw on June, what was that, June the 8th? The last week of school in June. And I told them that we didn't want to see that. Thanera and I told them that we didn't want to see that. I felt that can I say names? Maybe I shouldn't. I felt that the chief academic officer there and the superintendent of middle schools, I felt they were pretty condescending towards the parents. They were talking to us like we were children and that they were the smartest people in the room. And I wanted to correct that situation by shutting that presentation down.
As a community organizer and someone that works in spaces where we have to speak truth to power, you were amazing. And those of
You.
you who spoke out to redirect that meeting.
Parents were just unaware. And the result, did I feel like it was the best outcome? Absolutely not. I felt like they threw us a bone. Um, the outcome was that they would keep the program if by 27, 28 we could get 70 sixth grader students to enroll at Stevens. Um, I don't even know what we just have to get the same resources. And yeah, I don't know, Tanera, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think you said a lot of the key points. I definitely agree about the, like, I don't know if it's so much a success or a win. I think it's more, I was pleased that the people who needed to be in the room were in the room, and that the partners that we needed there stood up and said the things that they did. Like, I think the people who stood up and said that it needed, with it being a new superintendent, there's an opportunity to right wrongs, because that's really what it is. It's a wrong. Like, the wrong decision was made, the wrong plan was made. And so that's really a win, is recognizing that this is an inequitable plan and the strategy to implement it is wrong. So I think the fact that enrollment was allowed to reopen for this year, because the decision to like say in December before school choice that you were going to close the program made enrollment low, or allowed people, push people into different programs. So I think that allows more students to have the opportunity to be at Stevens in the current school year. So I do think that is a win, like Inez saying that her daughter will be able to attend this year. I think a real win will be when this is on the agenda in the school board and it's a permanent opportunity, because I do think the narrative, until that changes and the school district starts to talk about their investment in DI differently and looks at the way that they invest, as, because I think Mabel's point that the 70 metric is high, and with them opening Hoover at that same time frame, and it's a bright shiny new building, until we talk about things like the fact that Stevens is a distinguished school, this is a pathway versus a whole site investment, The way the kids learn is different, and you're getting a different model of dual language immersion at both sites. And instead of pitting it as like we have this little non-investment over here and we have this bigger investment, better shiny thing like they have been, it's going to continue to be an upward battle to get the same numbers. And they have to stop oversubscribing Keller. And it, because school choice, and they told us that before we left the room, that they will not be forcing parents into, like, they're not going to cap enrollment or any of those things. So I'm excited to see what they do, but I think there's parents that want Stevens, but I also think this could also just be another setup to not win. So I'm interested to see how the next few months and the next few weeks look, and I still think it has to be on the agenda. So I don't think we're done.
That leads into what's next. Something that I did observe that was very bothersome to me is it in the conversation at the meeting at the last week was as if you all were, it was like one or the other, and making it seem like you were going, and even the way the media portrayed you all in the first article was as if you were against what they were doing with Keller and Hoover versus what you wanted to happen for your own community. And I thought that was very disingenuous for even the district, because even in the conversation that was happening in the room, it was as if it was one or the other. And so for folks that are listening, it's not about it, what the district does over at Hoover and Keller. That's great. That's great. They should do it, but they should also keep the program on the west side of Long Beach. So what's next?
Absolutely. I feel like the narrative has been from the district and from people that are not really aware of what's happening, that it's us against them. And that has never, ever been our plan nor our thoughts. We're happy that Hoover is opening. That's great. We have nothing against it. I hope that it works out. I hope we have nothing against the program they're opening. We just want to keep the program here as well. That's it. We're not in competition. We just want the same resources.
And I think, like I said, it's a different model. And I think that's the big part that the district has to continue to talk about. You don't compare they're not, when they talk about high schools, they don't compare Sato with Wilson. And that doesn't make them two bad schools, because you have Sato, which is a very specific intervention of math, science, and small and unique. And Wilson is a big, huge high school. There are different reasons. They have different things. They exist. It doesn't make them wrong. And that's the same thing with what they could do with dual immersion. Hoover becomes your big, beautiful campus for dual immersion, because you're going to have 1,200 students there eventually. And so Stevens is your California distinguished small 200 pathway, and you provide it with different kids. It's different model. It's a pathway within the school. You want a whole site, you go to one site, and it's going to be at Hoover. It's going to be bigger and larger, but you do have to recognize that that is a different intervention. And if the district was smart, they would realize that that's the little difference. And they would be investing similarly in both, because there's reasons why you choose each one. There's just like you choose other things differently, but it's not us against them. And the resources should reflect that. It's just investing similarly in education.
Before we go to what's next, you mentioned distinguished schools. Can you just share with people what that means? And then I want to roll into what's next for you all as far as moving this forward, and what do you need and how can people support you? So, but what is a distinguished school? Why is
So,
Stevens Middle School on the west side of Long Beach a Long Beach Unified Distinguished School?
So in 2024, Stevens received the recognition as a California Distinguished School. It's one of the few schools in the state that has this category. And right now, the only DI middle school in Long Beach Unified that has this. We rank equally to Keller. We're not a, a school that is less than. We're equally in this. And what this means is that we've sustained progress in raising student achievements across all subgroups. So when you look at race, when you look at students with IEPs, when you look at social economic class, when you look at disability, all those factors, all those students perform equally. So that sustained progress over time, we're performing the same. You close the achievement gap historically for under served students. We have a strong parent, family, community engagement and model programs, things like DI, other programs within the school, good college and career readiness, and then a whole school culture of equity, safety, and belonging. You have to meet all these metrics to be a California Distinguished School, and Keller made not Keller, sorry, Stevens met that metric in 2024. And so there are not every school has this, and very few in Long Beach Unified, and Stevens is one of the schools that does. And so why hasn't that been marketed more? Why hasn't that been the this differentiator in the marketing? I don't know, but it should be. And that's why we're the pride of the West Side. So just my
Well,
little two cents.
and just hearing that, the hearing that, right? So, and I communicated this somewhere else, and I've heard you all communicate as well. By if you want to, if they choose to not move forward with DLI on the west side, that means they're going to take those students that help make it a distinguished school and move them to the other side of town, which only feeds into the narrative that exists in Long Beach Unified that schools on our side of town aren't sufficient. Making
Well,
that don't
and
make no sense.
yeah.
Well, I'll
Well, I
jump in
mean,
here. Oh,
no, go ahead.
Go
that
ahead,
was
Mabel.
something that I brought up at the meeting. For me, my daughter, myself, my daughter almost scored a perfect score on the SBAC test.
Mhm.
Um, that's not a Long Beach Unified School District test. That's a state test. And so what I made sure that I let them know is that that education that she has received, she didn't receive it on the east side. She received it here on the west side. But they want to move her over there. And to me, that's a big deal because I do feel like a lot of our DI students are, if you're in DI in sixth grade, for the most part, they are high achieving students. That means that they've been able to be proficient in not only English, but in Spanish. So I do feel that it's taking a high chunk of high achieving students from here, the west side, and moving it to the east side. And to me, that's a big deal.
I agree with you. So, what's next, ladies or parents? Because we don't have any dads on here today, but I know some dads been rolling with y'all and supporting y'all in this movement. What's next, and how can people support you?
I think for us, what's next is we are going to be doing a lot of outreach. We're going to be going, hopefully, to the school orientations. We're going to educate parents about the program. We're definitely going to go out to the feeder elementary schools. We are going to continue to press the board and to try to get this on the agenda, whether that's with our own representative or whichever other representatives we can, can hopefully support us. We are going to update our website. We are going to continue to share information. We are going to continue to reach out, go to our neighborhoods, go to our parks, speak to our parents, make sure that everybody is informed of exactly what's happening. There are a lot of parents who have kids in DI um, who just dropped off the program because they believe that it was going to be moved completely. So we want to make sure that all of those parents that did drop off of the program are reinstated. um, yeah, we have a lot of work ahead of us for sure.
In regards to the district reopening enrollment opportunities for this school year, what needs to happen, or what um, is there any messaging that you all need to get out to other parents whose children possibly would have gone to Stevens versus somewhere else, or would have continued their DLI journey had they not had the program been offered?
I think
It's not
first
too late.
the district has to reopen enrollment because it's something that they said they were going to do and it has yet to happen. That's the first thing. I think another thing that needs to be put out there is even if your student was never in DI, but they are proficient in Spanish, I think parents need to know that there is an exam that they can take and then they can join the program. I think another thing that parents need to be made aware of is there is a test that's offered in 8th grade. If they meet the requirements, then they will have I guess completed or met the met the requirements for foreign language for college classes. So there are so many benefits I think that are not, you know, that the parents are not aware of. And I think that a lot of parents think that this is maybe a program that you needed to start in kindergarten, and that's not the case. Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity. um, I just think our district needs to do better at letting the families know that these opportunities exist. They're investing money in it, but they're not investing in the students. What good is it spending money on a program when it's not when they're not advocating for it, when they're not reaching out to the parents, then it just gets lost.
And I would just say to build on what Mabel was saying, we they did say that enrollment should be open, and you have until like the very last moment to enroll your child. So just feel like just wait. Like if there's information that does come out, we will do our best to make sure that that information is out. So the website that you shared, we're going to be updating with any information. We're going to be sharing the information from the meeting that just occurred, but also as soon as we do hear that the process and what you need to do, like Mabel mentioned, that we're trying to make sure that we're as transparent as possible and that we know the steps. But also I know that on the Instagram, Heart for the West of the West, we put she puts information, and there's information out there, and there's other information that is shared that relates to this. If you follow the hashtag, and of course, Jerlene, you're doing a great job of following and sharing all the content. So I think it's also for parents, just try to stay in touch with the content that's being shared, and if they want to be involved with this and just staying connected with this, that's a good way as well. But I would also just say, like, I know it can feel like anxiety driven because we're already in August, but school districts enroll kids who move like up until the last day. So you can still move and shift your child as long as they give us the information. And they said they would re-enroll. So we are gonna, as soon as we get that information, we are going to so if there's any interest in still being in that DLI program at Stevens, as soon as we get some information, we're gonna let you know. And we're gonna stay on
Yeah.
them. So we're gonna try our best.
Can we also add, I believe we're gonna add a Google form to our website.
Oh yeah.
So if parents are interested, you can fill out the form. And that way we can definitely reach out and advocate on your behalf, reach out to the district and make sure that no one is falling in between the cracks. We want to make sure
Absolutely.
that they are able to re-enroll everyone who would like to be enrolled.
Mm-hmm. We'll also be at orientation August 20th at Stevens. So if you are at orientation and you're in regular ed and you want to switch to, or like in the English program, and you want to switch to DI, look for us at the table. We'll help you with that too. We'll connect you to the right people.
Well, First of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time. You definitely have been an inspiration to me. And I mean, just this short period of time, I've had an opportunity to connect with each one of you and learn about you and stand with you and support you. And I want to give a shout out to some other community partners or who, to LULAC, who showed up for your meeting, the meeting last week with the district, and also sent a letter of support to the district. The president of the NAACP also showed up. There was someone from, I believe, the Latino Democratic Club that showed up, as well as other community leaders who are alum of Stevens. I'm an alum of Stevens, who showed up in support of you. Um, our school board member, because I live in the area, does need to do better as far as making sure who who he is elected to advocate for. And maybe this can be a learning opportunity where he can learn how to do that better. Um, Tia, Inez, who are still on here, if you want anything, just come off of mute. If you want to say something before we close down, come off mute. Otherwise, thank you for your time. If you're watching this, please, 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 please help these amazing parents get the word out about Stevens and supporting the program. Um, the more people know about it, the more people are informed, the better the district will do in paying attention, because we know Long Beach Unified, they they like to control the narrative, and if we make sure that they are here, that everyone else is hearing the community side, it is going to make a difference. So if you're watching this, comment, drop a comment. It could just be like, thank you, whatever, something really simple. Share, post, react, help get this message out. If you have questions that you want answered, drop the questions in the comments. I'll make sure that the parents or anyone that's involved with this campaign gets this information. Also, if you're looking at the comments, I dropped the link to their website in the comments. Check out their website. As she said, they will be updating it, but there is also a form at the top of the website where you can put in your name and information so that you can stay updated to know when the next action is going to take place. If you want to help them connect with other community members and walk the neighborhood, and go to the parks and go to the after school programs, let them know. That's how you can connect. Thank you all for just being so amazing. Thank you for not only advocating for your children, but for advocating for the children who have not even had an opportunity yet. That is so, it's appreciated. Um, any last words before we close it out?
For me, I am having some tech issues, but real quick, two things. As far as like communities that have been most impacted by this decision, we really do want to connect. I know it's summertime, but we really do want to connect with folks from Chavez and from Lafayette, because Stevens is like the closer program for us. If you're out there and you've been struggling on your own, we all thought in this group, we all thought we were struggling on our own, and we didn't make anything happen until we all came together, you know? So we would love to partner with you. Come through. Like she said, there's the website and everything there. And then, as somebody that's very new to this process, I've been learning so much this summer. Um, Going to the board is a whole thing in itself, right? And then learning about, like, to get things to move, you got to put it on a public agenda. If y'all didn't know, in order to get something on that agenda for the board members to even vote on it, you need 3 board members to be on your side. So if anybody out there is a district member, Juan Benitez, if he's your representative, anybody else, and you want to support us and ask them to please put this item on the agenda, we would love to have your support as well. That's what I got.
We good? We
Just want to
good?
thank you for your time and for creating this opportunity to share what we've been doing. Thank you for your support.
You
Yeah, thank
all
you,
are
Jerlene,
so.
for all your support. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to be able to go through this process with all of you. I don't think I could have done this with any other group. I'm excited to see what comes next. Uh, our district is either gonna win with us or watch us win.
That's a great way to
I
put
like that. Thank
it.
you. Thank you all for your time. If you're watching, it's been Jerlene here. Uh, that right now, this is the talk of the town and talk of the West Side. Again, thank you. Just here to inform, engage, inspire. Um, please share, like, react, comment on this. Help the message get out. That's it. You all don't leave. Stay in the studio. I'm gonna end the stream.
Thank you.